Hi there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Prestige Liquids. My name is Andrew, and as always, it is fantastic to have you here with me again on another whiskey review video. Now, we've got a bit of a scenery change today at the moment. Unfortunately, it is just getting far too hot outside. I tried to record. Um, this is pretty much take two of me trying to record this video. But unfortunately I had to stop. My phone actually overheated and I could not use it. So yeah, now fingers crossed this will all go well. um, as you all know, I've been doing the Australian Whisky Advent Calendar. So today I am up to day 14 and I am going to be reviewing this one right here, which unfortunately I can't I guess show as much as enthusiasm as I would have liked to, as much as I should say more so as much enthusiasm as you would have seen in the original take, because now I know what this is. But rest assured, this is a whiskey that I've been wanting to try for a long time now, and thanks to this Whiskey Advent Calendar, I've finally gotten a chance to do it. Now, this is from 23rd Street Distillery. They are a South Australian distillery, and this is their single malt batch number one. Now, I have, since we're up to day 14 of this series so far, I do have a playlist set up, which I will put a link in the description box down below, so that way you can have access to content that you may have missed out on. And I will also be adding extra information about like cast type, maturation, and all that kind of thing as well in the description box, since I don't have that type of information on me at the moment. So, moving along, before I get into this, now I would like to mention that a little while ago I have reviewed a product from 23rd Street Distillery before, and that was their hybrid whiskey. Now, in all honesty, it was horrible. It really was. I did not like it. I've say majority of people that I have come across as well have thought that it just should not have been done. And to be honest, for me as well, it kind of almost turned me off wanting to try anything by this distillery, because I was just really thrown off. I'm thinking, okay, if this is the quality of what's being released, maybe I might. I don't think I'm going to enjoy what they may actually be producing. But of course, we always have to keep an open mind, and you can't always judge things off something that they technically haven't made. So I guess the premise behind the hybrid whiskey was that it was a blend of a bourbon and a scotch. Obviously, they had sourced both products, blended it together, and released it as it was. Um, but yeah, I definitely was not a fan of that one. I will put a link in the description box down below, so that if you have not yet seen that review, you can check that out after this. But for now, let's get into this review and let's see what we get. So, cheers on the nose. Okay, so the nose on this is already 10 times better than what you would have gotten from the hybrid whiskey. This is very enjoyable. It's very grainy. There's a heavy cereal note on this. So I'm getting lots of like cornflakes, rice bubbles. It's got a nice, gentle, sugary sweetness to it. Lots of vanilla and honey as well. I say the malt shines through really well as well. Really well as well. I really need to expand my vocabulary. So again, a little bit fruity as well. I'm also getting things like apples and pears. A slight lemony note as well. So yeah, it's got this a bit of a citrus tang to it. Pine needle. It's quite earthy. I don't think that this is peated at all. I'm definitely not getting any real peat influence, but I am picking up some smoke and barrel char, so that is probably coming through from the cask itself. Yeah, and there's a touch of saltiness coming into it as well. Now, one thing that I did forget to mention earlier is that this is also bottled at 46% ABV. Now, let's move along to the palate and see what we get. So, cheers. Okay, so in terms of texture, it's quite thin. It doesn't really have much of a mouthfeel to it. But considering the ABV, it's very smooth, very easygoing. It's a very light style whiskey. So for those of you who are not into overly oaked and heavy tannic whiskies, I think this will be a good one for you. This is tasting like a bourbon cask style of whiskey. It is definitely in the influence of, say, like a space side scotch. So again, for those of you who aren't typically into those very intense, overly oaked, and I guess wine cask influenced Australian whiskies, I think this is definitely one for you. Um, let's see what else we get. Okay, so again, honey, vanilla. The cereal grains that I picked up on the nose are definitely coming through on the palate as well. A very nice, gentle oak that's coming in. Like I said, I'm assuming that this is American oak, so it does have a lot of that bourbon cask influence to it. Vanilla, pepper, a little bit of a wet cardboard note. Unfortunately, that part of it, I'm not really enjoying it. So I'm not really enjoying as much, but luckily enough, the rest of the profile is compensating for that. It's something that's kind of just there in the background, and it's not too offensive. Moving along to the finish, again, very clean, a little bit of smoke, and also that barrel char influence is coming through quite a bit. I'm also getting things like milk chocolate, a bit of leather, tobacco. I have to say, one thing that I'm enjoying about this so far is just the way that it's opening up. It's not a one note wonder of a whiskey. It's quite versatile. There's a certain level of complexity to it, um, without it coming across as being too complex, if that makes sense. It has some really nice uh, dominating notes that you'll be able to pick up, and then there's a lot of subtle ones that you'll be able to pick up. I think perfect introductory whiskey. It's definitely got a lot of prominent notes that a new time drinker will be able to pick up on. Perfect for palate development, and I also think that those who are a little bit more well along their journeys into whiskey, I think there is definitely something here that you'll be able to enjoy as well. Um, like I said, I was very hesitant at first about going to get a bottle of this, but now that I've been able to try the sample, um, if opportunity comes around, I definitely will be picking up a bottle of this and quite possibly other future releases from 23rd Street, as long as it's not like a hybrid whiskey 2.0 or something like that. I think that's something they definitely need to stay away from. But the quality of the spirit that they've actually made themselves is very enjoyable. So, yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. Great job, excellent tasting whiskey. And yeah, I'll see you all again on the next video. So, get this.